I'm Kasey.
I'm Yoshi.
And I'm Lauren.
And we're teaching the fundamental movement skills of the overarm throw.
The overarm throw is a fundamental movement skill most commonly used in sports such as netball, cricket and softball, but can be found in many others as well as everyday activities. Children often incorporate the skill into many lunchtime games, and it will be used during PE classes throughout their schooling years. If the overarm throw is not learnt successfully, it can have an immense impact on not only their physical health, but mentally and socially as well. The overarm throw is strongly linked to a range of specific skills. Students who do not master fundamental skills such as the overarm throw are less willing to go on to learn more complex skills, often leading to a withdrawal of physical activity because of lack of perceived ability. This is often referred to as sports proficiency barrier. Not being able to complete the overarm throw properly can also lead to injury, as it is a shallow joint and can easily be hurt if used in the wrong way. The correct technique is important to minimize possible chance of injury. I'm late to class. Hey kids, now that we're in grade 1, we're going to learn how to do the overarm throw, and then hopefully by grade 4 we will have all mastered it. We teach the kids the overarm throw at this age because it is a time of relatively slow physical growth, which means it will be easier for a child to learn this skill because messages are sent proximal to distal. And distal body parts are used in sports such as hands and feet. Students have to continually relearn tasks as their body is expanding and moving, and body parts end up in different spots. Therefore, learning a fundamental movement skill such as the overarm throw earlier when not growing ensures a less interrupted learning process.
Okay kids, today we're learning an overarm throw. We're not going to start with the balls we normally use in sports. We're going to gradually build up. So first, we're going to start with something like a beanbag or a shuttlecock. We'll use a beanbag, so we find that it's easier for you guys to hold with your smaller hands, and it also has less resistance when you throw it. Additionally, we're not going to waste time chasing after balls rolling everywhere. For this lesson, we're going to be focusing on distance, not aim, as we don't want the kids to get the dart style throwing. So a beanbag is great for this because it's easy to manipulate the force you put into it, as it's quite lightweight. Once we have mastered throwing the beanbag, things like a tennis ball or soft style balls are used, as they are more like the equipment you would use in an actual sport. As a teacher, when initially demonstrating the skill of an overarm throw, it's important to use your own body. Therefore, when gathering the kids together for the first time, it's important that they're all watching you and have your attention for safety reasons. So the teacher should ideally face the children whilst explaining the lesson's objectives, goals and content. Then, when demonstrating the stages of an overarm throw, it's important not to face at the children because you don't want to hit them with the ball. So you face perpendicular to them, to the side. This way, it's not only ensuring safety, but that the students have full vision of the correct technique necessary for an overarm throw as you stand to the side. Then, when it is the student's turn to practice the technique of an overarm throw, the teacher should stand to the side of them for safety, and also to properly assess their technique as they stand on the side. This way we can provide any advice where necessary. Although, as students begin to advance with throwing their technique and build up to throwing at targets, the teacher can become a moving target, as suggested by the Victorian curriculum. Key teaching points are used to simplify the proficient learning process of an overarm throw. So firstly, we need to demonstrate to the class exactly how to stand for an overarm throw. So say we wanted to throw this way, we would need to stand side on to our target. So standing just with our legs out, just like that, pretending that that way will be our target. This means that the opposite foot to throwing arm is placed closest to our target. Legs should be shoulder width apart, just as we have here with Kasey. And this stance ensures proper hip and shoulder movement throughout the action, and better force is placed into our throw. Now secondly, students are to keep their head up and eyes looking at the target, or if there's no target, just the general throwing direction. So here, we will face, say the pole is our aim for throwing. We will look at our target, and also we can point our non-throwing arm at the target as well. This assists in students hitting their desired target, or at least the general direction, and hopefully not injuring themselves, or more importantly, another person. Additionally, the non-throwing arm pointing at the target also assists to balance out the student's body weight during the throw. Now the third teaching point, as we go to throw with our throwing arm, we will step forward with our foot closest to the target, just like this. So we do this as we go to release the ball from from our hand. This is important as it increases the distance that the thrower can apply their force onto the ball, and it also allows to help their trunk rotate throughout the movement. Here we go, we'll practice now. Stand. Great job! Other things to note include discovering the student's preferred throwing arm, because some students at this stage don't know what that is. So a good idea is to ask students to write their name in the air. Whichever hand they subconsciously raise into the air is more than likely their throwing arm. This will apply to most children, but not necessarily all children. So therefore, we can just use simple trial and error whilst doing the movements of an overarm throw to discover their throwing arm. Now these key teaching points have been simplified down to a beginner level and can become detailed each year as required. Along with this, teachers should show versatility in their explanations so that all students can understand where they're coming from, as well as use of positive encouragement. Okay kids, here I have my fellow teaching staff assisting me to demonstrate the activity we're going to do today. So today we'll be throwing at targets. These targets are set up far away to encourage you to throw for distance, but also ensure that we don't hit one another.
Okay kids, now we're going to start by throwing at these targets and just getting in the general direction, working on your skills. Hey, you're doing a great job, but what we really need to keep doing is keeping our eyes focused on the target. Okay, can I have another try? We really need to keep our eyes focused on the target so that we're not hurting anyone else and so that we get where we want to throw it. So this we just saw here was one of the many common areas you can see when teaching the overarm throw. Some other common areas include standing front onto the target instead of side on, stepping with the same foot as your throwing arm, and forgetting to release the ball at the desired point. Now that we've worked on the techniques of the overarm throw, and we've worked on some common errors that may occur, we can start playing simple games such as Clean Up Your Yard. This game involves two groups where you're throwing the ball onto each side, and at the end you have to see who has the most amount of rubbish, and the one who has the least amount of rubbish will win. This game involves throwing, helping throwing, and it doesn't involve skills that we might not have learned yet, such as catching. Alright, we're going to do some follow-up questions. So, why do we learn the overarm throw?
So that we can properly play all different sports with our friends for the rest of our lives.
Yes, good job. And why do we step forward with our opposite foot when we're throwing?
So we get a bigger throw and we also don't hurt ourselves.
Great job. You guys have really picked up the skills of the overarm throw.
Thank you. For further teaching references, you can go to Meldrum and Peters Learning to Teach Health and Physical Education, or look up the curriculum for each state in Australia and find their Fundamental Movement Skills PDF document, or go to the Journal of Physical Education. Thank you.
Thanks for watching.